We are here at Adani Vizhinjam port, which is the first automated container terminal in the Indian subcontinent. It's an international transshipment container terminal, which means the performance of the terminal on the vessels that come here is very crucial. The performance has to be consistent. The scalability is a given thing. So you got to be very robust, you got to be scalable, and the performance has always to be up to the expectations of the shipping lines. It has to be consistent. So these requirements are solved largely by automation. Automated systems, they are always pretty much consistent, they are easily scalable, they are resilient and robust.
There is a definite change required for us to go from a manual terminal to automated terminal. We have seen the world is doing that. Why can't we? And we met this change, and we are fortunate that we are running it up at the moment with the highest efficiency. That's a big change, but yeah, we are happy for that change.
ABB is the one who really gave us a good guide regarding what exactly is an automation as a solutions for the terminal. They really helped us in terms of selecting the right technology for our port. They also helped us in selecting the roadmap of the automation for the terminal, and the solutions that provided is very encouraging, very reliable, and the partnering that we have done so far, in my opinion, is very, very successful and really moving in a very good spirit.
Another large benefit of automation is the extremely enhanced operational safety. Now, when we bring in the STS operators and the CRMG operators in a nice office environment, when we take them away from the terminal, operational safety increases by leaps and bounds. So when we started our trial operations, from that point till now, it's been almost 8 months, and we have seen a very steady and a very quick rise into the productivity. It's gone up almost 100%. With all this digitalization and automation, we get a good look into how the machines are performing, how the processes are performing, and it gives us very good data-driven opportunities to improve the performance of the operations.
The future of this terminal is quite bright. We already commissioned the phase 1, and we are going to commission all the phases by 2028. The terminal is keep expanding, there's never going to be stopped. We already started our phase 2 construction. The major contracts are awarded, the work is going on, and we are very excited to finish this whole expansion of all the phases in the next 3 years' time.